People think because you're clean, you got it all figured out. Or they think that you're going to judge. I used for 17 fucking years, maybe more, right? Who the fuck am I to judge you? How am I going to be like, oh, I can't believe you had a drink? Like, I'm coming up on 3 years next month. 3 years is nothing.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
I guess. I wasn't trying to sell them, but I'm like, fuck it. We got too many to eat anyways. I made like 13 or something. I ended up selling 12 of them. We only ate one. They're like, yo, those were the best empanadas ever. When are you making more? I'm like, tomorrow.
Here's where it
And
starts to
this-
turn into
right?
something.
So now I'm selling empanadas out of a 2-car garage, but I'm still using. So I'm selling empanadas out of the 2-car garage. I'm sneaking out in the middle of the night when my wife goes to sleep. Because I don't know if you guys knew this, but drug dealers didn't exactly fucking quarantine.
No.
You know what I mean? And now I'm making money out of the garage. So I'm like, fuck it. I go out and I'm still getting high. And then one day, I don't know if it was the wrong shit. I took too much. I was on like a 3-day bender. And I fucking had like this.
Here's the light of God.
I had this. It's not, I don't know if it was the light of God or the fear of death. I had this freak out. I thought my wife was trying to fucking kill me. I'm running down the street like a fucking madman. I'm sweating my balls off. I pretty much OD'd. You know what I mean? And like there's certain painful shit that you relive in your head, but it serves you, right? Like.
It comes in front of your peripheral vision at the right time. Just like you see the progression here. I'm listening to the progression of how things come in front of you. You learned your entrepreneurial spirit by a bad beat. Somebody put a gun in front of you. Okay. You saw the cops around, okay, well, I got to figure something out. So you're reading it, you're in your mom's office and you Google, okay? You don't want to be a pilot, so chef. All right. So it just sort of comes in your vision. You want to find out what a real kitchen is. Well, somebody comes to you, and some people call them angels, whatever you believe in. This guy gives you a business card. So your COVID happens. Okay, well, I'm just going to make empanadas, and people buy all the empanadas. Now, your path of destruction, of self-destruction with the drugs and everything, you get something bad, and that just comes in front of you. Everything is happening to you at the right time when it's supposed to happen. I don't know if you realize that. I think you have.
100%.
I think you have. But it's an amazing thing to watch this happen. So what'd you have to do? Did you have to go to the hospital?
Oh, yeah. I got taken away in an ambulance. And, my poor wife's chasing me down the street.
Pregnant?
And no, we
No.
already had the baby.
Ooh.
And now, this is the moment I never forget. She said to the cop, I have to get back to the house. I have a newborn in the house. And that shit lives in my mind rent free. You know what I mean? That was the last day I ever used. You know what I mean? And, at the beginning I played the whole, oh, I could still smoke weed. Weed's not my problem, right? Until I realized that drugs are not my fucking problem. I'm my fucking problem, right? And when you mix drugs, it makes it fucking worse, right? I think the hardest thing about recovery, and like I don't preach recovery to people. A lot of people that know me don't even know that I'm in recovery. Because I never want to be the guy to give a fucking sermon.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you want help, you could always come to me. I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to be like, well, what you need to do. The fuck do I know what you need to do? I'm still trying to figure out what I need to do. You know what I mean? I just know that what I've been doing works. I go to NA meetings. I don't go every week. I have my certain things that I do that I know work. But I know the minute I take anything that alters my perception, whether it's weed, alcohol, any type of drug, I'm not on the right path.
But I like those people when they call me. And there's one in particular I'm thinking of. He'll call me every once in a while, and he'll say, hey, man, I slipped. It's alcohol. Hey, man, I slipped. I'm like, all right. Nothing you can do about it now. Not a damn thing you can do about it. So what do you do? When you fall down, what do? You pick yourself up. So how can I help you pick yourself up?
100%.
Right? That's all it is. It's how can I help you pick yourself up? And listen, when people fall after they've recently gotten they're in recovery or they're sober, it's usually about the 4 month. We're like, okay, I got this beat, you know, and then they'll go back and they'll feel like shit for doing it. But I like those calls. Okay, I don't like don't get me wrong. I don't like getting those calls, but those are the people who I can reach out to and I can say, okay, and just give them some encouragement. So
Right.
it's not all bad. We can get back on the horse. Let's do it together. I'm here for you.
And what happens is too with recovery, people think because you're clean, you got it all figured out, or they think that you're gonna judge. I used for 17 fucking years, maybe more. Right? Who the fuck am I to judge you? How am I gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you had a drink? Like, I'm coming up on 3 years next month. 3 years is nothing. There's nothing, right? Because I destroyed for 17. So what if I've been rebuilding for 3? How long does it take you to tear down a house? How long does it take you to build one back up?
You're shifting the balance.
Yeah, I got people that'll never talk to me again, right? My own brother doesn't talk to me. I don't get upset at those situations, right? The people that don't talk to me is for a reason. And that reason, most of the time, is me, right? I have to live with the things that I've done, the people that I've upset. Some people forgive me, some people don't. Like, I cannot dwell on those things. I have to move forward, and I have to try to be the best person I can every day, right? But the work never stops. That's the thing. Like, people think there's like some secret. Oh, well, if you go to 90 meetings in 90 days, then you'll be clean. That's bullshit. There is no fucking secret. It's hard work. You do the fucking work. There's no secret.
So when you were in full-blown addiction and you were apologizing, say you did something wrong to your mother, okay, and you apologized to her. I'm sorry, Mom, I got picked up by the police. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. Was there a but at the end of that apology?
Always.
I'm sorry I did this, but
Right.
I JoJo was on the street and he got me.
Right. There's no accountability.
There's not.
There's never any accountability.
It's an empty apology when people do that. So one of the things in my later years, I would apologize for a lot of bad behavior that I would do, but one of the things in my later years is I dropped that word but from any type of apology. When I apologize to you, Gus, I'm sorry, I did something really fucked up. Can you forgive me?
Right. There's no justifying why you did it and I mean, dude, look, and this is the thing. This goes to prove to you that it's not always the drugs. When my grandmother passed away, my grandmother she was one of the closest people on this earth to me, right? And I was sober when she passed away. So this is the first time that I dealt with tremendous loss. So I could sit here and I could say, oh, but I was in a vulnerable place. Oh, but, it was the first time. But that doesn't excuse the fact that I got into an argument with my brother outside the funeral and I knocked him out cold at my grandmother's fucking funeral, right? So my best friend was there. He's like, oh, but he deserved it. It doesn't fucking matter, right? At the end of the day, I was wrong. Doesn't matter what he said. I'm the one that fucked up because I made that mistake, right? And I need to live with that. And it's not something that I'm going to kick myself in the ass for the rest of my life, right? But I need to be like, yo, that was my mistake. I did this. I shouldn't have done that, right? And I got to take accountability from it.
And the consequences as well.
Right, because what happens is I reacted that way because of this. What does that do? That justifies the next time that I react the same way. And there's no growth in that.
That seems to be the secret to your success, whether it be recovery or even your entrepreneurial ventures. It's you have the honesty to have introspection, to look at what I did. Just like as you said, it's not always the drugs or not just the drugs. Like, what's the me part of it?
100%. We can only control the me. I can't control what you're going to say now or what you're going to do. I mean, there's 3 things that we could control in our lives. And that's our emotion, our actions, and our reactions. Those are the only 3 things that we could control, right? How I react, what I do, and how I feel. My feelings, my emotions, I can control, right? I could blow up or I could just take it down a notch. You know what I mean? Those are the only 3 things I can control. I can't control the weather. I can't control what you guys are going to do, what you're going to say. I can't control if the guy runs a stop sign when I leave here. All I could control is my part in it, you know? And when I stop trying to change who everybody else is and I start changing who I am, my life changes.
Good things just start falling in place.
100%.
You're making those decisions.
100%. It's always me. When there's a problem, I'm the problem most of the time.
But you preach something that's really important, because it's something that I say quite a bit. You know, if I'm sitting here talking about how to get over mental, or how to make your mental health something like, people will instantly say, and I say it often because I want people to know my fallibility. If you think I got it all together, you're wrong. I don't. I fuck up all the time. I get angry. I get emotional. I get, you know, my wife is really good at throwing those little stabs, and every once in a while she'll hit a raw nerve, and that's when.
That's what wives do.
Oh, that's yeah. But it's like she knows right where that exposed nerve is, and just digs it in, and that's when I lose my shit. And then after I lose my shit, what did I solve by losing my shit? I end up having to, even though if she did something wrong, I'm always the bad guy, and I have to go apologize, even if she did something wrong.
It's a repair mission now.
I have to go apologize, when if I would have stayed calm and she would have continued doing whatever wrong she was doing, I might have gotten an apology, you know?
Right.
So I took all the blame for everything that was going bad, and I just put it on myself purposely. It was the stupidest thing in the world. Nobody wants to feel blame. Nobody wants to feel like they're responsible for anything. But that's my really one big downside, and I work on it daily. So it's a constant. I'm a work in progress, like everybody else.
Yeah, look, it's like we were saying before we went live, right? Like, we want people to be who we want them to be, but I mean, I don't think any of us are even exactly who we want to be, right?
Not yet.
So how
That's the driver.
How are we going to control who other people are, right? We got to worry about controlling who we are, because I could barely control who I am most of the time, right? I mean, I got like 9 employees now. There's not one day that there's in at least one of them that I want to fucking choke. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I got to be like, all right, cool. Let's go back to step 1. Listen, not like that, right? I know this is the 30th time, but let me show you again, right? And I gotta tone it back, because I got to meet them where they're at. Because me flipping out on them, me yelling at them, that's not going to get me the result that I need. And that's not going to make them change who they are, right? This is who they are. I got to work with what I got. And I got to be a better person in order to make them succeed, right?
Well, you've turned that ship around. That was the thing that you said, I will never be treated that way by someone in the kitchen.
Well,
and
yeah.
I can tell you firsthand, I've seen it is a very tight family relationship in that kitchen of yours.
So I reposted that story of the gift that one of your employees gave you, which is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So when I walked in there the first time, I was overjoyed at how friendly the people were. I said, "Hey, I'm here to see Gus." He didn't know who I was, or I was there to see you. I'm here to see. Greeted me kindly. "Hey, I'm here to see Gus." "Oh, he'll be here in just a minute." And then you tell me, you showed me the pictures first of one of your employees made this scale Lego creation of your Cubita truck.
Yeah.
That is it's down to every last detail. Now, you can look at that from a distance and say, "Hey, that's fine. That's great. That's a really cool gift." But when you really look at it, somebody took time and put so much care in this.
2 months.
2 months.
Amazing.
Every day after work for 2 months.
You don't do that to a boss that you despise.
Created something special.
It's one of the greatest gifts that I've ever received. You know, in terms of a physical gift.
It's the time.
One of the customers said to me, he goes, "Dude, I want that." I said, "Yeah, good luck." He goes, "Dude, I'll buy it off you." I said, "You can't afford it.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money that anybody could give me for that truck." Right? I have it on display at the shop. It's one of the greatest gifts that anyone's ever given me, because
it's their time.
It's their time, right? And you can't put a price on their
most precious thing.
right? And it's not just their time. They both work full-time jobs. They hand make every single empanada in that restaurant. We sell thousands and thousands of empanadas a week, right? And after work, they went home and worked on this project, thinking about me 3 months in advance for my birthday. I mean, I wish that I had the thoughtfulness like that, right? Like, dudes would be like, "Oh, happy birthday, motherfucker."
You do.
You know,
Tells you
like,
they're doing something.
You do. And I'm gonna point this out to you. So you're an addict, okay? You're an addict through and through. You just turned your addiction into something different. I've had your brisket. And that's an addiction, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, that's an addiction, the way you cook it, the time you put into cooking it. So you say you wish you had the thoughtfulness to do it. You don't make and I'm going to be honest with you, because I've eaten brisket from north to south. I've been in the soul kitchens in the south and everywhere in between, and I'm a big brisket fan. I have never had brisket like that. And that's not something you just whip up thoughtlessly. That takes thought.
It's a labor of love.
That takes thought and process. So while you might not be good at putting Legos together, just the way your employee did, you make artwork out of food. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. There's certain things I don't eat. Like I don't eat French fries. I don't really eat fried food. And you put
they're not cooked in dry aged beef fat. That's why.
Tallow. Yeah.
So you give me no, they're cooked in tallow. They're cooked in beef fat. I'm like, okay, I can get on board with that. And I ate them. And I've said this before. Every time I go out to eat, my stomach hurts because I know what it is, whatever they cook it in, it just destroys my stomach. I left your restaurant, and I'm telling you, my stomach didn't hurt a bit. And I ate fried food. So there's something to be said about that. And then you gave me a whole food education, which was really cool. But you can tell the love and the thoughtfulness that you put into your restaurant. You've seen the end goal. When you were a little kid, you saw the end goal. You were looking for respect. Misguided, young, you're in the right place now. You're getting that respect. I watch people come in there. I watch how they treat you.
I think I've said this to you before. I felt like I never fit in until I realized that I was born to stand out. I live by that. You know what I mean? I was always the misfit. I was always the kid. I was the kid you didn't want your kids around, right? And now I'm the guy whose friends' parents call and say, hey, my son needs help. I want you to talk to him. I overheard you talking to my son the other night. I want to thank you for what you're trying to do with him, right? And like, to me, that means everything. You know what I mean? The fact that I just want to help people, man. I don't care how it is. I don't care if it's helping an old lady cross the street, if it's helping somebody that has a hard time eating at restaurants, have a good meal somewhere and feel comfortable, if it's helping somebody get out of addiction, big or small. Like, I'm just here to help. You know what I mean? Because I wish I had more help when I was growing up, and I feel like I'm so good at covering shit up that a lot of people couldn't help me, right? Like, I can negotiate anything with anyone. I could fucking sell anything to anyone, and I am the first fucking customer. Because I can negotiate with myself. You could smoke a little weed. It's okay. You've been clean 3 years. You could go out to the bar and have a couple drinks, right? And like, I could do that shit all day. But now I know who I'm dealing with. So I don't negotiate.
One thing that you said resonates with me tremendously. And you said that I'm not in the food business. I'm in the human connection business.
I'm in the people business.
That's right. People business. And then you said, this downplays your skill as a chef, but you said the food is just a vehicle. The food is the vehicle for the human connection. And you were talking about being young and how at a young age, you wish you had sort of somebody that might have turned it around. And you're actually doing that. You're giving back in your own community to the youth.
Yeah, we do. I do work with Union City High School. So they have a program where they have a culinary program, and it's a high school. These aren't college kids; these are high school kids, and these kids cook their ass off.
Yeah, but they're learning by your passion, though. That's what it is.
It's incredible what they're doing over there. My buddy Pat runs a program there. We've become close friends, and you know, I wish that we had something like that when I was a kid. And like, you know, people tell me, like I told you, my little brother did a 5-year bid, and when he got out, you know, I felt partially responsible. So I say, yo, listen, I got a job for you. Come work for me. Right, not the greatest idea, but, you know, we feel this sense of loyalty. We got to take care of our people, right? So I brought him to work for me. And I remember after his first shift, he looked at me and goes, why the fuck do you like this shit? What is wrong with you? He's like, this is stupid. He goes, this is harder than any day I've ever done in the Bing. And he did a year in the hole. He said to me, this is harder than any day that I ever did in prison. And I said, you know why, right? because it requires thought and effort.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, right?
To be a tough guy does not require thought and effort. It just requires muscle and fucking just action, right? It doesn't require effort. It doesn't require sacrifice. It doesn't require much, right? The real gangster is the guy that works 18 hours a day and still makes time to go home and put his daughter to bed.
That's the tough guy.
Yep.
That's the real tough guy.
So, Gus, we're nearing the end, and I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and where they can go to or find Cubita Cafe.
So Cubita Cafe is 234 Franklin Avenue. We have Cubita Truck now, which is popping up everywhere. So it's been a blessing. We're doing all festivals, parties
With
tonight.
Hackensack Brewing, I saw you over there.
Tonight we're at Hackensack Brewing. We do Wu-Tang Wednesdays at Hackensack Brewing. Shout out to Mike over there.
Mike's a good dude.
Yeah, we're there every other Wednesday. We have Lord Sear from Shade 45, so he's spinning the records. We're slinging the empanadas. And then my personal page is Hudson Chef. That's where you could catch me ranting about Yelpers.
Yes.
Or
fake reviews.
yeah, or I mean, look, that's my personal page, so it's very unedited. As you could tell, I don't believe in this politically correct. I think the world needs raw, real, unedited. You know, my poor mother-in-law, she hears more fucks and this and that, but that's who I am. That's who I am. That's how I speak, right? And I feel like sometimes if you want to get through to somebody, sugarcoating it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's not what comes out here; it's what's in here.
100%.
So, Gus, we're coming to the end of this thing here, and we end every show the same way. You 17 years of addiction, 12-year-old kid holding guns, selling drugs, kind of limping your way through this profession, which it sounds like you're built for. You know, you could have been better, but you kind of limp through it to finding your way now. You've had a lot of suffering, but if you haven't learned from that suffering, it's a really big missed opportunity. So what has your suffering taught you?
I think my biggest suffering was my mindset, right? Once my mindset changed, everything changed. And I recently had a friend ask me, he said, if you could change any of it, how much of it would you take back? And I said, nothing. Nothing. Because our suffering makes us who we are, right? Like, if I don't think about those dark moments, it doesn't keep me from reliving them. Not living in those moments, but remembering those moments is what keeps me from going back. I mean, I'm about to come up on 3 years clean, and I've never relapsed.
It's awesome.
Never relapsed.
Well, if you ever do have those thoughts, you got my phone.
100%.
You call me and we'll go grab a couple. We'll go get that what? Not the Cafe Con Leche. What's the other
the
one?
Café Bonbon.
Bonbon.
It's a drug in itself. You got to be careful with that shit.
I could drink 5 or 6 of them.
Condensed milk and espresso send you to the moon.
Gus,
Best in Nutley.
I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate all the support. And this is why I wanted to bring you in here, because I wanted to see, while you do have amazing food, the connection between you and the Suffering Podcast was very evident from the first time I met you.
Yeah.
And Tom had told me that, but I only believe like half of what he says. Thank you so much for coming in.
No, thank you for having me, brother. It's a pleasure.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of a Chef with Gus Gutierrez. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned. Be in the people business. It's beautiful to see the embrace of the American culture. Trauma affects people differently. Be resilient. Find a way. Things appear in front of you at the right time, but most importantly, don't fit in. Be a standout. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount on your digital business card. Follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn,
Tinder, not Grindr, unless that floats your boat.
Follow Tom at The Tom Flynn. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And, of course, follow The Suffering Podcast. And when Mr. Death is tapping on your shoulder saying, come this way, it's comfortable on this side, what do we say?
Not today.